Hello, everyone. Hello. How's everybody doing? It is Monday night. I don't know. My days are kind of blurring together. It's been a long weekend. Anyway, hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the Weekly Geekly, delayed by 2 days now because I wasn't able to go live yesterday. Anyway, we have two people appearing tonight on the stream. So bring them up here. We have 3Dub in the house. Good to see you, 3Dub. How are you?
I accidentally clicked on something on StreamYard and I said connect to my YouTube so I can chat live. I'm like, oh. I can do that?
It worked?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. And we have Paigey in the house giving me an L. How do I get an L? We just started. Like, how did that?
No, you're reigning.
He's predicting the future.
No, it's reigning L champion.
So we have had, where I live, heat advisories every day for the last week and a half. And I don't know, I guess, so it's wintertime. It's the middle of the winter for you, Paigey.
Oh, and it was freezing this morning as well. I woke up and I was like, Jesus Christ. It was like 4 degrees, I think, when I woke up this morning.
Oh, so it is
that's an
today,
Australian 4 degrees.
It was 108 degrees here today.
Oh, turn the aircon on.
That's a lot. Yeah, it couldn't even keep up. It was just basically like sweat dripping everywhere.
Too hot
I was wet in all kinds of places. It was a mess. So Defunct says freezing my bum off. There we go.
Well, I was freezing my balls off, Defunct.
Oh, were you? Okay. Here we go. Anyway, shout out to some of our team members in the chat here. We have South Texas Shark in the building. Good to see you. Blackwing Gaming over on the Debunks channel. Good to have you here. Mars Falcon on the Debunks channel. I'm not legally allowed to say how it's going. It's Monday. Yeah, there we go. Good to see you guys. And wait, we have Defunct. There we are. Good. It was showing up a different color because Defunct is a mod, so I couldn't find it. I was like, wait, I'm looking for the wrong color. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. So this was an open invitation to everybody. It was in the green room. So if anybody else shows up, I mean, I have no idea. Some people might show up midstream or something. It's wild and wacky Mondays.
I know Darth is basically sleeping right now.
Oh, yeah. What time is it in London right now? Like 3 a.m.?
6 hours. So he's basically like 4.
Yeah.
11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. Honestly, so this weekend is wild. The summer's wild for me anyway because I have a lot of bookings. And this is the first year since COVID happened where, like, I have events almost every single day. And so it's just really, really difficult to get on and do stuff earlier in the day. Hey, Maestro. So even now, like, honestly, if this were any other day of the week, I would be working right now. It's like, so it's crazy. It's crazy. So Stranger, that kind of went away because the very first episode that I did was pretty much restricted all over the place. I think because the title of it was a little like YouTube thought I was doing something with alcohol.
I also don't think the expletive racist rant you went on helped either.
Oh yeah, that was awful. That was awful.
That probably didn't help with the demonetization.
So,
Space Fluff says hi. He was the first commenter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that was earlier, wasn't it? That was a while ago.
That was basically, he said it would be 4:30 a.m.
Oh, so Space Fluff must be in the UK then.
Yep.
I have to guess so. Hey Steve, how's it going? Been a while. I'm here often, just not usually live or in chat. I get it. So I did my review for My Adventures with Superman today. It's up on the channel. If you somehow didn't see it because YouTube did not push it out for you, it's there. I'm talking about the new costume from the episode and leading up to the finale. This was the penultimate episode. There's one more episode next week. So super excited for it. It's been a good season. I know Paigey's not watching it. 3Dub, have you watched any of it this season at all?
Okay. I'm just one episode behind.
What are you talking about?
My Adventures with Superman.
The thing that you don't watch.
I saw they gave him a new shit suit or something like that, which people are like, what the hell? But
well, a lot of people say it looks like a Marvel suit because Marvel likes to put gold embellishment on everything, and they were like, oh, look, this is what would happen if Marvel did a Superman suit. It's like, can't make everybody happy. Everybody I know preferred the older suit as well, but I don't have a problem with the newer suit.
At least
somebody else said the new suit looked like the one from the James Gunn Superman movie. I don't know if that's I wouldn't go that
At
far.
least it's not the CW disc that they keep saying. Like it's
true.
the CW suit.
There's more CW slander now that the shows aren't on the air than there ever was when the shows were on the air.
I will say, like,
quite often.
now it's legit, where back in the day it was like it's legit to some people, but overall it just depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
So
someone told me if you go back and you watch like the later seasons of The Flash now, like season 7, 8, 9 or whatever, it looks extremely bad compared to what it looked like while we were actually watching it. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I honestly, when I was watching, like as I was watching The Flash, I noticed that his speed he eventually got lightning at like further on in season 1, where at the beginning it's just a blur. Like basically it's just wind going off his face and he's looking. They basically tried to recreate a Smallville.
Do you see the super chat 3-dub? It's for you. Heroes.
Wow.
Any guesses? I think it's probably Melissa Benoist, maybe. Is that who it is?
I'll say Laura Vanderwort.
Yeah. So the trailers we're going to watch tonight, we're going to watch the Captain America trailer because I haven't done that live with you guys. So we'll do that. We're going to do the trailer for Gladiator 2. We're going to do the Agatha trailer. And then if we have time and anybody else wants to suggest trailers, we can watch some other trailers as well. I'm not sure. I'm looking through here because I usually go to Joe Blow trailers. They have like a lot of the.
Of course, you would go to Joe Blow.
What's wrong with Joe Blow? They just basically aggregate trailers, so makes it easy for me, So we do that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Captain America 4 movie in general, some of the discourse around it, some of the information about it. There's an interview today, or I don't know if it was today or not, but the EP for Creature Commandos talked a little bit about that show. And there's a couple quotes here that I want to kind of go through. So, Mars Falcon, we know it couldn't be Gwyneth Paltrow. Goop detoxifies the body all the way into the soul. Goop. Did you guys ever hear about that? When she was selling
Isn't
that
the one
crap
that smells like
online?
vagina or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know if it smells like that. Like, they never advertised it.
I've never smelled like a candle or something.
There was a candle that did smell like, like a woman's body part.
I think it was her vagina. Didn't she like?
Was it?
I think it was.
Someone has to. I don't want a candle that smells anything.
It's definitely vagina related.
I don't want my house to smell like that. My house smells like coconut right now. So
not.
Yeah. See, there we go. Right into the dirty shit. Let's talk about Star Wars: The Acolyte. So, that's a show that everybody's watched. So why don't we get into that? It's reached like peak discourse online where everybody's like, Star Wars is dead again for like, how many times has it died now? Probably 50 times.
It's like, it's kind of funny because like one week when the episode's good, he was like, hey, it's alive. And then the next week it's crap and it's like, it's dead again.
I will say what's funny to me is the people that don't understand how to review television thinking that they can review television. And that is the people that every episode to them is an individual like movie and they don't think beyond that episode. They're like, I'm watching this episode and I know there's 5 episodes left, but I'm going to complain about stuff in this episode that might get answered before the end of the season.
Or like take someone else's opinion and then read it off it like a book.
Yes. Very that. When you review TV shows, because I've been doing it for a very long time, it's very easy to start to lose the vision of what the show is because you're looking for bigger answers. But there's a certain person, I always give them credit for this, that happens to be present with us right now, that that told me that it would help me review shows better if I stopped looking for the season-long answers to be answered in one episode, because that's not going to happen. And so after that, I sort of adjusted the way I reviewed shows, and I was like, okay, so the smaller stuff, the smaller stories, you can certainly say, well, I wish they did this, blah, 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 because you might want the pacing to go a different way. But we're talking about the bigger questions that are going on throughout the season. Why the fuck would they answer those in episode 5 of a 10-episode season or something like that. Why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. And so when you're criticizing a show for not answering something or explaining something that clearly is the big mystery of the season, it makes you look like you don't fucking understand what you're doing.
What's also funny is I actually fully believe that the mystery behind the fire was explained. Like basically, all I got, the information I got was, like that's how Osha became a Jedi. She got like basically that was one mystery solved, and then the other one they kept saying was May started the fire. So I thought that was it, like because they kept saying it until like episode 6 where Soul just like leaves a bomb, like something's missed, there's more information. I'm like
well, even when I watched episode 3, even though I didn't like the episode, one of the things that did bother me was not seeing what happened during that battle, because I really wanted to see more, but I knew that they would eventually show what happened because it's part of the story of the characters. Now, my issue with that was the way it was paced throughout the season. I still feel like the space in between 3 and 7 feels like a long time for me. And I know people in my comments disagreed with me, and that's fine. But for me personally, I felt like there was such a big gap between 3 and 7. And then when we get to 7, it feels like we're seeing scenes that from different angles that just didn't matter to me. It didn't matter. There were certain things that I did like when Saul was watching the sisters at the tree. I thought that was kind of cool. The part where he was watching them training and being on bad behavior, I thought that was an interesting thing. But then a lot of it we'd already seen. I kind of like, though, that the 2 episodes were showing the mindset of the witches and then also the Jedi. So you got to see both sides of the story. And then as a viewer, you have to figure out which one of those works for you. You know what I mean? Like which one you're going to go with. Because I don't think there was a clear, like, this is a good person, this is a bad person. It really just depends on how you take it in that moment. But I personally thought this was a better episode than 3. I think 3 was the worst episode of the season, in my opinion. And I'll say why in a second. But just generally between the two of you, what did you guys think of the episode overall?
I did think like 7 was a step up from 3. But at the same time, like 3 was more like it answered a lot, but it was boring. It was boring. It was basically an information episode. Hey, this is
which one? 3?
3, yeah.
Okay.
It was basically a flashback to get some information and mystery solved. I thought they like basically solved everything in that episode because it was the entire episode. So but obviously that didn't happen.
I know Paigey. What is my cat doing down there? What were you doing? They're scratching. And Paigey, I know we have a similar opinion on why the episode wasn't good for us, but I want you to sort of talk about it for a second. Like, what did you think of the episode?
Mama, oh my fucking god, it was so bad. Child acting was awful.
Yeah,
surely like they should have like gone after the first time they heard mama and gone, oh,
I know,
we changed that. Like I would have rather heard like mother or something like that. Probably would have been
a bit
better off, but that was really like grinding
for me. What the biggest glaring problem with episodes 3 and 7 are the child actors.
Yeah, they're, and I don't know, as I said to you before we started thinking, I didn't realize they weren't the same person. Like, when they do twins, they just do the same person like they're doing with the adults. I thought they were either as just a set of twins or as the same person doing it. And then I realized they didn't look the same. And I was like, oh, they're different. They're actually different people doing it.
So it's kind of like the Mary Kay and Ashley scenario when they put their entire name together without like hyphenating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, but I think it was also, I think the split between episode 3 and then that was too far away.
I agree.
Like, I think in the season, it's too far away. It was the 3rd episode of the season of an 8-episode season, and then we're going back to it. I would be fine if we went back to it in episode 6, but seeing there's only one more episode left, and we,
I didn't like it as the penultimate episode. I thought it was a bad place.
Essentially wasted a lot because the whole episode was just really to show us, oh, he did this. Like, he made this decision that wasn't revealed in episode 3. I was like, do we need an entire episode around that? Like, you arguably could have just had an episode mixed with flashbacks or something, which I might have preferred.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason is just because we only have one episode left. And I'll give the show like a decent amount of slack as well. Like, I thought it was very dodgy at the beginning, but I think it was getting better as we hit episode 4 and then 5 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they and like, it's all like hypothetical because we don't know what's gonna happen. They could nail the finale. It could be 10 out of 10 and all. It's just that I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it in one episode. But the only thing I'm questioning is this meant to be a limited series, or is there a potential for a season 2?
Yeah, we don't know 100%.
Because if there's a potential for a season 2 that we haven't, there's been no suggestion of, but from what I know, then I'm somewhat fine with it. But it depends how it finishes it off and what it sets up, and then we have to wait 4 years for season 2. Okay, well then I'm like, I think you might have screwed it.
I know there's a call for it. Like,
yeah, there are people that want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so leading into this finale, I have to give them a little bit of credit for a few things. One of them is introducing characters and then killing them off, and they're gone. Like, they're gone.
I was so disappointed with X-23.
Yeah, they're gone. And actually, she came out and said that she liked that they did that. She liked that they were able to,
but
like,
still
actually get rid of a character. But you don't usually see that in Star Wars. Characters that go away, sometimes they come back, or we still see them. And you know, we could certainly get a prequel to this prequel series that shows them, you know, trading or whatever.
I would be happy if they have like if X-23's whole entire race looks like X-23. I'll be happy then.
Well, I have to give them credit for actually doing that so early in the season. And when I say early, like the midway point, like getting rid of them. So I thought that was kind of good. I do like that you don't have to necessarily know a lot about Star Wars to watch the show. I think that was another good thing. Like, a lot of the people that watch it with us are not huge Star Wars fans, but they really were like, I want to try this out because I watched the first, you know, couple episodes and I was like, you give it a shot because it definitely feels like it's something that you could watch, and they did, and they've liked it a lot. So I think there's that. It's a good entryway into Star Wars for a lot of people. And lastly, I think the fight choreography. I know people try to clown on it. I've seen the videos trying to break it down. You can't. It's good. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. I don't care if it looks realistic. I'm not watching Star Wars for realistic sword fights. That's not why I watch Star Wars.
It's a laser sword. It isn't realistic.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I want to watch real sword fights, I can go everywhere and find it. Plus, people that actually do like fencing and stuff, they're like, sword fights that you see on TV shows and movies are already unrealistic because most sword fights end in like 30 seconds. They're not very long. Like, you're going to beat somebody very quickly in a sword fight unless you're doing it for entertainment purposes. And so trying to break down that it doesn't look realistic, no shit, they're lightsabers. Mm-hmm. They're people with magic telekinesis powers and they can read your mind. Like, these are not real battles.
And so, I like the criticism, like fire in space. As soon as you can hear sound in space, the whole like logic of space in Star Wars goes out the window.
We have whales that fly through space at hyperspeed.
Yep.
I don't care about fire on a spaceship. Like, it's not immersion breaking for me. Honestly.
I mean, it happened in 4 where the Death Star exploded. I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's not immersion breaking for me. But again, I understand there are valid criticisms. Like, I think some of the acting has been dodgy, especially the child actors. I think pacing has been a problem. That's probably my biggest complaint is the way the episodes are paced.
That's the biggest issue. I think the acting's fine outside of the child acting for the most part.
Yeah.
The child acting's bad, but I think the rest of the acting's fine. The only issue is that sometimes it's hard to understand what Soul is saying just because he's obviously had to learn English.
Mm.
But it's just like when he has to like emote, if that makes sense. You know, when he has to like be angry or something when he says something, and then maybe it's a bit. But at the same time, I can sort of still. I mean, you can turn subtitles on if you really want to, but I still get the gist of it. But it's like here and there. But that's the same if like someone's running and talking. Sometimes you can't understand what they're saying when they're running and they're talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the pacing, obviously, I think some of the overall writing isn't that great. I think the big picture writing is fine so far, and I'm interested to see what they do in the finale to tie it up. it's just some of the dialogue is a bit arse.
Yeah.
I honestly
but
hate
that can sometimes tie into the pacing as well. Like, oh wait, like you have this action, then you just stop for like 2 minutes to have this like sometimes just a context thing to be put in there, or to stuff like that. But yeah,
I honestly hate the episode length. Like, it's not always set. Like, basically, like our TV shows like Arrow, Flash, they have a set like 40-minute like consistency. There's no consistency.
Well, that's what I think that Disney's trying to fix. Like with Daredevil, I think it's going to go back to a more consistent episode length.
Well, to be honest, I personally don't mind it if you have alternate time run times for something. Like House of the Dragon, for example, had like an hour and 10 episode. Was it last week or something like that? And then I think the week before was like 50 or something like that, or 55. So I don't mind. I don't mind it if it alternates like that, as long as the episode warrants either that longer or shorter runtime.
I just have a problem with 1 minute 60 minutes, and the next minute like 20 minutes.
Well, that's one of the points I was gonna bring up when Paige, you talked about sticking the landing on the finale. The finale could be an hour long. Finale could be an hour and a half long.
It's going to be about 40. I'd say it's probably going to be 40.
Yeah, but they
45.
could.
But it might. Wasn't there an hour episode of... I swear one of them had an hour episode. One of the maybe it was the Marvel shows.
Maybe.
I might be wrong.
The point is, though, that since there's not a set time, if they feel like they need more time to tell the story, they should be able to do that if they wanted to. So
it could be 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, like, I feel like they could still stick the landing on it, but I do feel like, for me personally, I think we're going to see a big change in that pacing and consistency and all of that with Daredevil. I think that's going to be the first big series where we see those changes.
I also noticed that in, like, for instance, episode 3, where it's short, but it feels like it goes on forever. I really hate
that. Because it was off. That's why.
Yeah, it was a bad episode. It was like, a bad episode of TV.
I hate when those episodes feel like that. Like, it's short, but feels extremely long.
It's like how an hour-long massage will feel like 10 minutes, but an hour-long getting like stabbed in the back will feel like 7 hours long.
Yeah. The cat's name is Nairobi. She was a rescue cat. That was the name they gave her. Silhouette Animator. We have some super chats here. Let's go through these quickly, and then we will wrap up our Star Wars talk. So, Silhouette Animator goes, Brainiac giving me AM from I Have No Mouth vibes. Yeah. Do you like the design of Brainiac in My Adventure with Superman 3-Dub? Do you like the way he looks?
No.
Like
Krypton, I loved Krypton's version of Brainiac.
Yeah. But you're not a big fan of the triangle head, boomerang head
No.
Brainiac?
That kind of gave me the vibe of the Superman cartoon back in the it's like the Superman animated TV show where they had this movie compiled of like 4 episodes, and I think it was like anyways, there's this Brainiac who's just 3 dots on the screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's basically like that. I didn't like it.
My cat's being a little brat right now. We have some super chats here about Deadpool. We'll leave those for a second. Anyway, any final thoughts on Acolyte before we move on?
I hope they land it. I hope they had the Force with them. Force with them on that last episode.
I was trying to find something that Paigey sent me. I was going to do a stream on it, and then I ran out of time. I made a thumbnail for it. I should show the thumbnail. Here, hold on. This was the thumbnail.
Cat has more screen time than
I know. So this is the next topic, but we'll show the thumbnail here. I was going to go live on, I think it was like Thursday night before I had to work late. And this is because of the news that all, and I mean every single one of the HBO or Max home of HBO originals are now being reworked into just HBO shows. That includes The Penguin and what was the other one?
The Lanterns.
Right. So this is pretty much it's done for Max. I think it's pretty obvious that this service is probably either going to get rolled into like a bundle thing with another service, or it's just going to become an HBO streaming service. Pretty much, right? I mean, is that? Dune Prophecy as well. So yeah.
I'd assume it's just going to be like HBO Go essentially, and then like a Warner Brothers archive where you get your from like the 1930s onwards, and they just keep it there. But even then, they still do the thing where they sell the streaming rights to like Netflix and Hulu and stuff every now and then for certain movies and series and stuff like that.
Do you think they basically are like OCD, where they try to like split their entire like content into like 3 different streaming services?
Well, right now Discovery Plus and Max have a lot of the same stuff on it.
Yeah, like it's kind of like I think they're overdoing it. Like, I'm not going to pay like $100 just for HBO and all of its spinoffs channels, spinoff apps.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's all going to go back to the old ways in America, where they're just all bundled together and just ends up new age cable. Like, that's just what it's just going to end up being.
Yeah. I feel weird because I like some of the stuff on Discovery. We watch a lot of like the baking shows and stuff because we bake here, so we like to watch and get ideas. But all of that is on Max now, and we paid like a year in advance for Discovery, so like that screwed us over because like why am I paying for both of them at this point? Because to be honest, a lot of the stuff on HBO Max, the exclusives are other places now. There's very few exclusives on Max.
I made the joke of Hulu and Disney Plus, bundling together because there's DC content on that, and there's Marvel content on Disney Plus. Yep. So it's a freaking contamination.
I wish they would just go back to the days when everything was on Netflix. Yeah. Like Netflix just had everything, and they paid these studios money to have their content. I feel like those were the golden days of streaming when everything was on Netflix. And there was a few things on Hulu, but Netflix was kind of the big one.
I hate the password sharing, not lockdown, where you know.
So Anthony says there's no point in getting rid of HBO as the most iconic name in the history of television. That's the dumb thing. Cinemax was a network over here, and then Max being applied to other things for streaming services was fine. HBO Max, even though it seemed weird, it seemed like you're combining HBO and Cinemax, but they called it HBO Max. It still had HBO in it. To switch it to Max, home of HBO, was so fucking stupid. What a dumb branding mistake on their part.
Remember when we called like Max a dog name? Well, funny story. My mom got a new dog, and his name is Max.
That's too funny. Let's see. I want to talk briefly about The Boys. I know you guys haven't watched it, but we're coming up to the end of the season, and I didn't do a review this last week. I didn't have a lot of time this weekend, so I just kind of skipped. Tubi, look, shout out to Tubi from Black Widow.
I've heard Tubi's like, isn't it like the most watched or something?
It is, because it's literally free. Like, you can watch it for free.
And if you use ad block on your computer, you don't get any of the ads or something.
Right. Yeah. It's great. Tubi is wonderful because if you're someone like you go out and you buy a smart TV, Tubi is on all of them, and you can literally watch a ton of content for free if you have to. Like if you're in school or you don't have a lot of money or whatever. Tubi has a lot of stuff. There's a lot of DC stuff on there. There's a lot of Warner Brothers stuff. They have channels. Like you can watch channels of like reality TV and stuff. It's crazy how much stuff is on Tubi.
And there's live stuff too, I think.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Anyway, talking about The Boys. So this week's episode was definitely a step up from last week's episode for me. And I think we're leading into a pretty solid finale. There are a couple of issues. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. So I'm not going to give away like the ending of the episode, but I will say that seeing Frenchie and Kamiko back together was a lot of fun. We get to see them kind of together after a couple episodes.
As a relationship?
No, just as friends.
Oh, friends. Okay.
I'll be honest. I was going back on YouTube and I was watching scenes from Frenchie and Kamiko previously, and I can't remember.
Did he freeze?
Yeah, he froze.
You're back, Eric. I think you're alive.
You froze for a second.
Oh, well, yeah. So normally the little thingy on StreamYard says you're losing connection. That never popped up on my screen. But anyway, so I was going back and I was watching this video on YouTube about Frenchie and Kamiko, and the commentary was good because the guy was talking about how they've never worked out in the past, regardless of whether or not Colin was in the picture. And it's because they always gave off like friendship vibes, like family vibes kind of thing. It was never like relationship vibes. And he was showing clips to sort of explain, his position on this. And
honestly,
I think he had a good point.
I honestly, I got the hint that they liked each other because of he was more caring towards her than the other characters. So I thought there was something like he liked her. And then
I think they did though. I think that they did try to make it work, but like the episode where she was in the hospital recovering and he was there with her, it's very clear in that episode that they're just not going to be together for me. And I think it made a lot of sense. Now, that doesn't really explain how quickly everything happened with Colin. I think that was a plot point for the season. I think a lot of people said that Colin felt like a plot device for Frenchie, and I would agree with that. I do feel like that's the case, because where the fuck is Colin now? Where is he now? Like, as soon as Frenchie's story went the way it went, Colin disappeared. So I feel like he was a plot device for Frenchie this season. We might see him come back next season. I don't know. I have no clue. But it was good to see the two of Kamiko and Frenchie back together as friends. I froze again.
No,
I think you're good. Trust me, I'll tell you.
I'm being trolled by Hero's Journey. But it's good to see them back together because I do like the two of them being friends and being close. But it's very clear to me that it wasn't going to work out with them, and that's fine. And so, yeah, Canada Graphs here says Colin was just there to get Frenchie wanting to pay for his past crimes. Yes. And I feel very cheated as a viewer because in the beginning of the season, when I was talking to Darth Bunyan about this, I didn't have an issue with Frenchie and Colin being together. I thought that was fine. But they expedited that relationship to get to the point where they needed for Frenchie to feel bad about what he did to Colin's family, but then also be in a relationship with them, which again, I don't know if I've talked about it here or not, but that was weird as fuck. That whole situation was weird as fuck.
I also felt like this storyline was a bit forced. Like it was like basically a storyline for season 4. Like it wasn't like it like it progressed through the seasons. It just like 4, boom.
No, absolutely. And what I told Darth Bunyan when I talked about the first 2 episodes was I would have liked a little more time to get to see like Colin and Frenchie get to know each other before it got to where it got to. Because it's not that I don't have an issue with them being together. I wanted to see at least a couple of episodes of maybe them, I don't know, some sort of chemistry between the two of them, because I feel like it just kind of jumped to that point.
Yeah.
But that's why it felt like a plot device, because now it's over with, and all it did was it led Frenchie to feeling regret and remorse for what he did, and then wanting to pay penance for that by going to jail. And I'm like, was all of that like we use that character for that, and that's it? Now he's gone. There's no other side to that.
Before season 4, we didn't know this happened. They should have like left it alone, or like have them like progressively get involved, and then season 5 drop that Easter egg.
You know what I'm going to blame this on? I'm going to blame this on the fact that we don't get longer seasons anymore. That's what I'm going to blame this on. If this were a show where we got 20 to 23 episodes, we could have had a really long time to get to see Frenchie and Colin get to the point where they got to, and gotten a lot more backstory on what Frenchie did. But because we're only getting like shows like 6 to 8 episodes now, everything is rushed through quickly. And when you're talking about an ensemble cast, something is going to get left on the cutting room floor. And in this regard, Frenchie is like the 3rd tier, 4th tier character in The Boys. And so they wanted that story to be there, but they didn't know how to realistically get there, because what else were they going to sacrifice for that? Were they going to sacrifice Huey's story with his dad? No, that wasn't going to happen. Were they going to sacrifice Homelander? No. Were they going to sacrifice Starlight? No. So how are you going to cut corners? You have to rush through.
I don't want it spoiled, but can you? Well, I do kind of want this answered. Did they touch base on Huey this episode? From
in what way?
Of his father and of being abused.
I don't. Okay, so I don't want to I guess I could spoil a little bit of it. They don't dive too heavily into that portion of it, but they do show Starlight and him having a really good moment together that sort of helps mitigate some of the damage that happened last episode. So they do address that, but it's done at the beginning, and then they kind of go through it quickly.
Hey, let's get it out of the way.
They addressed it because that was one of my complaints about last episode, was it felt really weird that she didn't talk about it. So they did sort of talk about it a little bit, enough that I feel satisfied in it. But again, I'm blaming the fact that these are short seasons and we have 10 characters to tell stories about in the show. So it's just a lot. We have the Deep making a really, really rough decision when it comes to his relationship with the
really deep decision, huh?
Yeah, really deep decision. Also, I feel like Sister Sage or Sage. Not really sure what she actually goes by. I've heard her. They call her those interchangeably. I'm not totally sure. There's a lot of discourse around her plan and what happened in this episode. So I feel like I have to spoil this just to talk about it briefly. So hopefully it doesn't bother anybody. But basically, she reveals to Homelander that she knew that A-Train was the leak. In which I think everybody sort of figured either she knew he was the leak and she was just keeping it a secret, or she wasn't the smartest person in the world. But she knew. She admitted she knew. And she was using A-Train to provide disinformation to the boys and screw them over. And that was the plan all along.
That was Agatha all along.
Yeah. But she didn't tell Homelander because Homelander is a wild card. Homelander will do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And if she would have told him immediately,
by A-Train.
Yeah. If she would have told him immediately, he would have killed A-Train. Immediately. So she had to keep it a secret from him. This was part of the reason why she did it. So he fired her from the 7. So she's fired from the 7. That's what he said. I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, but he told her that and she was leaving the building. But anyway.
Isn't her only superpower ruined?
What do you mean?
She only had the brain and it got shot.
Well, but her brain grows back though. Yeah, that's her brain is like, it fills up her skull basically.
So she has 2 superpowers.
Yeah. I think her brain is powerful. That's what I think it is. So I don't think she has any other suit powers. I don't think she's super strong or any of that other stuff. I think it's just her brain.
Like her brain just fixes itself because it's super strong. Wow.
I think so. So, but a lot of people online are like, oh, she's really stupid. She should have known that Homelander was going to do that. Well, this is why you don't review television that way, because it's quite possible that she does know that Homelander was going to do that, and that was the whole point. Also, we won't find that out until next episode.
Also, there's to use the example of Reed Richards in Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, he was too arrogant.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. She understands that. So here's the thing. Sage understands that Homelander's biggest weakness is his arrogance. That's his biggest weakness. And then that's followed up by his impulsiveness. Those two things combined together are basically his kryptonite. That's really what it is. So she's using that against him. So I have a feeling that she knew that all of this was going to happen, including what he would do if he found out that she was hiding things from him. But people have been giving her shit about this whole situation because they're like, oh, how could she be the smartest person in the world if she didn't see this coming? But they're totally missing the fact that Homelander not immediately killing her proves that she knew better, because she had to know that he would not kill her, even though she knew this information.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he would have just done it. So it was more out of character for Homelander not to immediately kill her than it was for her to not know what was going on. So I'm assuming that all of this has been the plan since the beginning. That this has been part of her plan since the start. So all the people clowning her online are not paying fucking attention to the show. They're just not. Sage has been the most consistent character all season long. However, on the flip side of that, A-Train has had the best story of the season, in my opinion.
Wouldn't you say Butcher is also consistent because he keeps having these visions and stuff like that?
I would say, but consistent is a good word, but I would also say predictable, except for the one thing that happened last week where we found out some stuff about the visions. Other than that, he's a very predictable character. It's
he's like kill soups and that's it.
Yeah, he's very predictable.
I'm going to backstab people now.
yeah. You can absolutely talk spoilers. I'm just not going to spoil the one big thing at the end of the episode. I'm going to save that for everybody else.
I've already seen the Black Noir spoilers, so
Okay, yeah, you did mention that before we went live. But A-Train's redemption arc is in full effect, and I'm not saying we forgive him for anything, but I love the story. I love where they're going with him. I think it's interesting. I don't think if he survives this season, I will be very surprised.
Who, Homelander?
No, A-Train.
Oh, A-Train.
Yeah, if he survives this season, I will be very, very surprised because he has made a mess of all of this. And even if he runs across the world, I feel like it doesn't matter. I feel like
Homelander gets a hold of him, he becomes F-Train.
Pretty much. Okay, so CJH here says, my theory is that Black Noir has Homelander's DNA or powers. I will agree that I think Black Noir, the new Black Noir, obviously, is more powerful than we understand, because the scene where Deep and him go in and confront Starlight, or actually try to confront all the boys, we see that he's, obviously he can fly and all this other stuff. I think that he might be like a sleeper agent. Like he's a character that doesn't understand what his purpose is, and there's like a code word or something.
I know
that turns him on, something like that. I don't know.
I just kind of hope they kind of go in the way, not necessarily page for page of the comic book, but have a similar story that leads to the same place. If they do that, it's looking towards that right now because Black Noir is powerful.
Well, Canada Graph's got it. Sleeper agent, the narcoleptic guy. I know. I feel like it's too on the nose, right? Yeah. Levi here says, one question, a common complaint is that season 4 feels like a filler season. Do you all agree? I personally don't. No, I don't think it's a filler season. I think the issue with this show is the same thing we see with a lot of shows. And when you've been reviewing TV as long as I have, the longer a show goes on, the more likely it is for the show to start making mistakes and having storylines that don't feel fulfilling. A good example. No, because Supernatural did what a lot of shows have to do. Every 5 seasons or so, they sort of rebooted the show, right? And a good example of this is Arrow. Arrow season 4 was a season that everybody was like, this show is completely dead. I don't like it anymore. It's garbage, blah, 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 whatever. And then they did a sort of reboot to what the show was in season 5, and then everybody loved it again. It just happens. The longer a show goes on, once you get out of season 1 and 2, you start to get into these nitpicks and these pedantic complaints about the show.
6 was the reboot for The Flash.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Would you agree with that, Paige? That the longer a show goes on, the more likely it is people are going to complain about it?
Well, hold on. I think I might need to sneeze. No, I don't. It's mainly because when you make a TV show, what are you going to put in season 1?
Mm-hmm.
All your best ideas.
Stuff. Yeah.
Your best stuff. So most shows, unless you got like a 2-season plan or something, or 3, but it's pretty rare people go, because you got to be up yourself a bit to guarantee you're going to get to season 3. So he's going to put your season 1 stuff there, so you keep going, so you get renewed. So unless you usually introduce a new character, or a villain, for example, comes in, they've got an amazing story,
or a team of characters like they do on the Flash, where they had like multiple characters doing things.
Well, yeah, but it's more like in regards to someone that's going to get a lot of screen time. So you like most times, just your first season is going to be your best season, or at least the season with the highest quality stuff, because it's been probably had the most planning. Like a lot of times, like can have 3 seasons of planning until it eventually hits the screen because of development and everything like that.
Even
and with the boys and stuff like that, I mean, the issue with the boys is because of the type of show it is, where essentially it's just like you have to say it's a bit like it's an edgelord show. Like it is. It's always trying to push the boundaries and stuff like that.
It's like South Park superheroes, but not quite as clever.
You always, it's always like you got to balance that nuance to it. Like, I've been open with this. I felt it's sort of fallen off in regards to this nuance pretty much since season 2. Like, I think halfway through season 2, it starts to like go into that. Oh, we know why people are watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue, is that a lot of people. Oh, I don't want to say a lot of people, like the majority, but there's a good amount, especially on the social media side, in regards to like people talking, that watch it just because they swear, they show probably a considerable amount of penis, and there's a lot of blood and guts. Like, and there's no other show in that sort of genre that does that, at least to that level. Of course, like Peacemaker, for example, did that, but I think Peacemaker had a bit more nuance to it at the same time as well. At least in regards to like sort of like toning it down. Okay, let's just not try and be that show. Who knows? Season 2 might go off the edge and decide to do that. Who knows?
Would you say that season 4 is constantly a curse for basically all shows?
No, I think season 3 is meant to be the standard curse for most network TV shows, isn't it? I think it's season 3.
If you look at all the like Arrowverse shows, season 4 was like the bad of most of the Arrowverse.
I don't know. I think, Paige, you like season 4 of Flash, right?
Yeah, season 4 of Flash is a good season. Supergirl season 4 is good.
Not to me.
Isn't that the Agent Liberty?
Season 4 was the of Supergirl was the oh my gosh, the Lex Luthor stuff, and then the back half was good. I'll give him that. Back half was good.
Yeah, season 4. Season 4 of Supergirl is the best season of Supergirl.
Wow.
But the
wait, what? What do you mean, Zaya?
The racism of like Supergirl being an alien, and it just felt like it should have happened in season 1.
Oh, it felt too try hard for you that late.
Yeah, but season 1 was like a rom-com, like I'm walking on sunshine. Should have been playing like every single episode. Like that's what season 1 was. Season 1 was ass. Supergirl.
It felt like the people just changed dramatically after like 3 years of loving Supergirl, knowing she's an alien, and then being scared of her.
To be honest, I don't really care because Supergirl as a whole was pretty shit. But
and that's your opinion.
That's funny. All right, we have a few other things to talk about, but let's jump into some super chats here from Scott. So we got a 198 super chat from Scott Edwards. Are you excited to see Jennifer Garner as Electress? We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, which, by the way, what is that? Is like a week away, 2 weeks away?
Yeah. It's a week and a half.
A week away. It's 10 days away.
So who's going to see this like opening weekend?
Well, I will see it first because time zone, so sucked in.
I'm not watching it. Look, I'm on the Joe Blow page, and there's 3 new trailers from different territories. I'm not watching the 3 new trailers. I'm not getting spoiled or anything
Eric,
else.
I have to ask you, as we get closer, have your concerns grown higher, or are they still at the simmering levels?
What do you mean concerns?
We were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, whether there was a concern over whether the movie would be good or not.
I think it's going to be a good movie.
Has it changed? Okay, I was just wondering because you were like you're being very negative.
Well, I mean, I was concerned because it seemed like there was a lot of weird stuff being like promoted with the movie, and as far as I know right now, I think as long as the movie does a pretty solid job with these two characters, I think it'll be fine.
Well, I think it's once again, it's a Deadpool movie. Like you got to go into it. And I think most people going into it just expecting a Deadpool movie. Like, I'm not expecting too much to it. But at the same time, it's like, now it's being said that, like, people were shown the first 40 minutes or 35 minutes, and it's just pretty much, that's what it was in the trailers. There's nothing in the trailers outside of the first 35 or 40 minutes. So it makes you wonder, what's the other, hour and a half or roughly, or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, my curiosity levels are pretty high. Twisters won't do better than Deadpool.
I know that for a fact there's going to be like multiple Wolverines, so I know that they're going through universes. So
that's what worries me. I'm worried about there just being like silly cameos and it takes away from the movie. Like I've always said, my most hated part of Multiverse of Madness is that cameo scene with the Illuminati. It's so unnecessary. It doesn't fit the movie.
I hate that scene. That's the only part.
Unnecessary.
Like Doctor Strange Multiverse.
That's my favorite scene in the movie, honestly.
You're an idiot.
It's good, but it's good, but I hate the smartest man alive getting killed in 2 seconds.
No, it's not even that. It's just the fact that like it disconnects from the movie. They just decide to go. It's like almost they went to the toilet break and they get cut in half. No, it's like they went to the toilet break in their own movie. They went, let's just step away from the actual movie for a second and do this.
At least they didn't.
I actually think it's the best part of the movie. Like,
Eric, I know you're just trying to piss me off. So it's not working.
At least they didn't disrespect the Xavier. That's the only. Like he lasted extremely long.
Yeah, then he got fucking.
Yeah, he died, but he lasted longer than the entire Illuminati. He was like the last one to die.
To be fair, he was like camping in the back. He wasn't really doing much.
He was sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
I did not like the Elektra movie. Have you guys seen the Elektra movie? From
Yes. And I don't
actually.
like
I think I hide that shit from Blockbuster.
I don't like the Daredevil one, and then I don't like the Electro trying to fix it.
I love that Daredevil movie when I was a kid. That was like a badass movie when you're.
It's really campy now. Like if you go back and you watch it, it's kind of funny. But the Elektra movie, wasn't a big fan of it. But I do like Jennifer Garner, so seeing her come back as Elektra would be fine. And there's a couple other comments here from Scott about the Deadpool movie. Do you think Blade Storm and X-23 is going to be in Deadpool 3? At this point, I think anybody could be in the movie.
I think X-23 is going to be a scene on one of those, the TVA where they show you your life story.
Yeah.
I think X-23 is going to be on that with Wolverine.
You don't.
Oh, okay.
Do you want my craziest cameo that I actually legitimately think is going to be in the movie?
Yeah, good.
Actually, I don't legitimately think. I wouldn't put money on it, but I like if it showed up, it probably wouldn't surprise me. Is his Green Lantern.
Oh, that would be so good because
for some reason I just feel like it's gonna be.
He already killed himself though.
What if he
killed
showed
himself?
Up?
He didn't kill the Green Lantern. He killed Ryan Reynolds in that universe.
First of all, do you think they could actually secure the rights for that for like a 3-second?
Well, you know why I think that? Because of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know the Looney Tunes characters appear in that movie, and I just wonder if you could do something similar, especially if it's a specific version of a character, which they're obviously never going to use again, like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, too, because if you think about it, they would have to cross the Marvel multiverse and go into the DC multiverse and then find that one Pacific one that's on Earth 2011 because it was hinted at by Greg Berlanti in Crisis.
Then we have another super chat here from Scott. Do you believe in the Anarchy Avengers Resistance leak? So there was a leak about this. Did you guys see this one? Like this came out or whatever?
No.
So this is the lineup. I had a picture here just in case, but it's a lineup of the Anarchy Avengers, and these were the characters they had said were going to be in it.
What in Deadpool?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought like a specific movie.
So multiple
Well,
versions of
probably.
Deadpool with X-23.
Well,
Storm,
the issue is
Gambit.
that Channing Tatum pretty much confirmed he's in the movie.
Okay.
He essentially confirmed it. So that's you can do him.
The
Obviously, all those
only
Deadpools
one
are
in this entire lineup that I'm super questionable about is Blade. That's the one that I'm the one where I'm like, I don't know if that's
There,
he's gonna be there or not.
Well, the reason for that is because he apparently hates Ryan Reynolds. So, like, would he? Unless they kissed and made up or something. Unless it's obviously a different Blade, but.
So I kind of get the inkling that he's going to form like a Deadpool corpse, like Green Lantern corpse, but Deadpool corpse.
You mean core?
Core, yeah. Deadpool core. And it kind of like resembles what that happens in the run where a villain just tries to destroy the sacred timeline, which is happening in this one. So I think Deadpool is going to make his own like Deadpool team.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I assume too. And these characters being on that team wouldn't shock me, except for Blade.
Those characters that have been shown in the movie, even Ladypool, are in the Deadpool core.
Yeah, Corpse. Deadpool
corpse. Yeah, corpse. Corporation.
Anyway, yeah. But thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate it. Super chats plural. Scott. Let's see here. What else did I have laid up? Have you seen John Cena? Because you can't see it. John Cena. I do it on purpose. I know it annoys Paigey.
You've literally never fucking said that before in your entire life. You're
John Cena. It annoys Paigey. He messaged me and was like, please say it that way, not the way that you say it normally.
Yeah, Cena.
Like, all right. Yeah. So this was a picture of him on set for Peacemaker, and people are complaining because of how skinny he is.
Looks like he's coming out of a dirty Miami nightclub or something.
I mean, it's Peacemaker, so you know.
Well, you know they're filming in Stargirl's. That's Stargirl's set.
Oh, really?
That's where they're filming. They're filming where Blue Valley was. So that's the I guess a place in that area. Dallas, Georgia.
Stargirl spoiler.
So people were like, "Oh, he was so super muscular in the other Peacemaker season. How are they going to explain that in Peacemaker season 2?"
I mean, to be
they're
fair,
not connected.
And he's wearing black, so
yeah, but they're not connected anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I still kind of want a kind of like a ripple in the universe to where he just changes from CGI muscles to that, so I can like emphasize that it's a different universe.
We talk about being concerned. This is one that I've been super concerned about. Is Peacemaker season 2?
To be fair, I would have preferred if they just didn't do season 2 and they just include the character elsewhere, just because. I don't know. I think I know a lot of people talk about like the contradictions in regards to like Gunn casting his mates and his brother and stuff and people like that and stuff. But I think this is probably the most outstanding one because it doesn't really make sense too much. Because he's also not canon.
Item to Superman, they have like pretty much everyone.
So, I'm like, I don't know. Wait and see. Like I know Peacemaker in itself as a show is like not really too much plot. Like no one. I don't think really too many people are going to be theorizing around the plot for season 2. It's more like how the character's going to interact and what other silly deep cuts from the comics like Judo Master are going to appear and things like that. So
the super chat kind of reminded me something from Deadpool 1 where there was this like card where collectible card, right? And it had Green Lantern on it. Is that similar to like? Would they have have the rights to that to show it?
I think it's if a character speaks dialogue, isn't it? Isn't it something like that? Isn't it if they
maybe? Isn't Peacemaker going to be in the Superman movie? Wasn't there a picture of him on set for Superman?
No, it was Frank Grillo who spoiled it himself and then went on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Frank Grillo
how long until you think James Gunn gets sick of Frank Grillo and just goes, mate, I can't.
Well, you know what's going to happen? He will get sick of him, and then he will go on social media and trash the DCU and trash James Gunn, trash Warner Brothers.
Back. Crossbones is back.
Yeah, Marvel knows what they're doing. They treat me with respect, and they put him in a movie. He's like, I'm on the set of Avengers 4, and they're like, what the fuck? Stop spoiling shit. You're fired again. You're out of here. You should have known.
And then somehow it just comes up, sell you know what to you know who.
I'm very curious though. Oh wait. There are more pictures here. Hold on. This is This does look familiar now. Look at this here. When Paige was mentioning thing about Stargirl, look at this. All of these shots now look
That's
like
where they end of the season 1 finale when Icicle gets hit, and he gets hit by the truck right there on the road.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
He looks a little bit like Ben from the DC TV show right there. Looks a little
who was it? I was watching something and I was like, this looks like Ben. I can't remember what it was. It's gonna pop into my head probably after. I was watching this thing. I'm like, that is legitimately Ben. It was Ben. It was ridiculous. I'm trying to remember who it was. Off the top of my head
a
now.
buffer Ben, but
No, not him. But he was like, oh, what was it? Yeah. I'll have to try and remember it after and mention it next time.
CJH Entertainment here with the $6.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Says Deadpool can only have Green Lantern as long as they establish as a fictional character within the MCU.
I mean, I could do that.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Whereas, like, I think I read, Cisco says something similar where he's like, I think I read this in a comic book or somewhere, and it's the Flash emblem on a light projecting to the sky, and he's like, I think I read, I've seen this in a comic book, referencing Batman.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that, CJH. I appreciate it.
And then on like Girls Night Out, they referenced Hulk, which is a Marvel property.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so there's an interview with Dean Lorey for the Creature Commandos EP. And he was talking about how the animated series is going to be the first expression of James Gunn's DC universe. And he says, we're considering that canon. I think it expresses his perspective tonally on where he wants the universe to go. He noted that the show, which follows government official Amanda Waller, she develops a Black Ops team of monsters, is nothing new. It's like the Suicide Squad, but he's done that. People aren't going to be surprised by what it is. This is not making me very excited, but I think you'll be really encouraged to see how completely it's going to inform the new version of this DCU, which I'm very excited about. That's pretty much it. But he basically saying it's just the Suicide Squad with monsters, and I understand that kind of was what everybody expected, but I'm hoping it's more than that. I don't want just the Suicide Squad with monsters. Like that's not what I want something deeper than that.
I think it felt like kind of like the Suicide Squad with monsters. Like he just did.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Creature Commandos?
That should be the the tone of what we're going to see in the new DCU, because it is the first movie of the DCU, so it should set a precedent of what we're getting into. But I'm like Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll give it a try because obviously I was blown away with Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm going to trust James Gunn to make Creature Commandos interesting.
A 2 for Maestro. Wow.
But right now it's a 4 of interesting.
AJ, I know it's animation, but are you excited at all about Creature Commandos, or are you going to skip it?
Live action.
I'll probably watch it just because it's in thing, but then at the same time, James Gunn said like the official start is Superman, so it's like probably not the best way to promote it. I mean, to be generous, maybe a 5, I guess. Like, yeah.
What movie would they be in?
That is an ABC show, which is owned by Disney, though.
What live action Creature Commandos would Creature Commandos be in? Because he said that the voice actors that are in Creature Commandos will be in live action. So what movie do you think he would be in?
Well, to be honest, I think that was just an excuse to go, yeah, Frank Grillo is going to appearing.
Yeah. So Fetman says 7 for them. Defunct says maybe 6 or 7.
I need a trailer. I need a trailer. I need to see the animation style.
Are they putting something out for Comic-Con? Is that
No.
when that's going to happen? Wait a minute. When is Comic-Con officially? Is it this month?
Next weekend.
25th.
So not this weekend, the weekend after. The weekend of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay. All right. I will probably be live most of that afternoon just because, even though we'll probably get shut down by YouTube multiple times, I will be live.
I think they should have waited for Captain America 4 to release in San Diego Comic-Con. They should have waited a week.
Well, my question is, why did they release the trailer before Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's my question.
Is it because it's going to be? I'm wondering if it's because it's going to be leading in with the Deadpool movie. The trailer's going to be playing before Deadpool.
You've answered your own question.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, essentially that.
So this was one of the promos that came out for Captain America. We're going to watch the trailer here in a second. Speaking of that, with Red Hulk crushing the Shield. How do we feel about Red Hulk being a part of this movie? Is it
he should have happened? I mean, I kind of want him to happen sooner, but it sort of makes sense.
I don't like that it's Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford. Like, I love him as an actor and stuff, but the casting when you go from
John Hurt,
it just feels a bit stunty. And then he's like doesn't have the mustache either and stuff like that. Like he refused to.
Would you like if it was Sam Elliott because he also played Thaddeus Ross?
I wouldn't mind it, but it'd feel a bit weird because wasn't he the Ang Lee Thunderbolt Ross?
He was in the Eric Bana.
The Ang Lee one. So like, and then Liv Tyler's in this as well. Like, I don't know. It's like,
well, to be fair,
I'm pretty sure she's gonna die. I think.
Well, to be fair, the Red Hulk isn't actually what's it? Oh my God, Harrison Ford. It's too late. It's a CGI character that's going to have facial expressions from, like, I guess the Hulk version. Like he's going, the guy who was the Hulk in the TV show. He usually comes back to do the movement because I don't think Harrison Ford can do the movement like Mark Ruffalo can.
Well, some people are telling me that this Hulk is not going to be Harrison Ford, that he is a red herring, that they're going to make this a different person.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you, you know what the best thing about this trailer is, Eric? I know you're going for Joe Blow, so it doesn't show the true thing. It's under 2 minutes. It says 2 minutes and 8 seconds there, but that's because you went to goddamn Joe Blow.
Joe Blow is like the 30 best trailer site on YouTube. It's the best.
It's you know what? It's a very good trailer in regards to not really spoiling too much. I know they show Red Hulk, but he's in the poster as well. Yeah. But there are some shots that look absolutely ass.
Yeah, because I think the VFX probably aren't. These are reshoots, so VFX probably aren't finished on it.
And I'm assuming that they weren't allowed. They probably didn't film during cherry blossom season in Washington DC.
Probably not, but I'm sure they're gonna. I'm pretty sure all of that will get cleared up because here's the deal: people complained about that with the Marvels, and when the movie came out, the VFX were fixed. So,
but everything else looks fine. It's just that it was like a bit startling when they popped up.
Look, I think it's actually really smart for them to put Red Hulk in it, only because the movie needed a little something to get people excited for it.
Well, I was surprised that they showed Red Hulk, but they didn't show the leader.
Well, I mean, because Red Hulk is more visually striking.
I think they did.
No, like show him, not.
Yeah, okay.
From the back.
I get now.
Okay, so we're gonna watch the trailer. Here we go. Let's give it a play.
Joe Blow presents
Wilson,
unedited trailer that we'll take credit for.
Thanks for coming in. Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look. They said lose the mustache or lose the election.
So, do you like the way they did that tongue-in-cheek introduction to him there by commenting on how he looked? Did you like that or not?
If it wasn't there, I would be shocked because we've like Black Widow was the last time we saw him as William Hurt. So it's too close to in the same phase that they needed like a joke in there.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
You and I I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
How do we feel about that? Because that's something that Steve absolutely would have not done. He would have never, ever been like a military sanctioned superhero.
He also, when the Sokovia Accords happened, he was on the opposing side because he was like, what if we needed to be there and we couldn't go there because limitations?
Yeah, right. So I think that's interesting. Also, if you watch the series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I mean, that was why they picked John, was because they could literally make him a military owned Captain America.
That didn't work out for them.
Right. By the way, people were talking about this shot. Yeah, this is not finished. Like 3Dub, you do like graphics and stuff. This is not fully rendered. This is not done yet. These are unrendered shots. They probably need about another dozen passes or so before they're completely done. So
obviously it's kind of like most trailers that you're going to see like bad CGI, but when it actually comes out, it looks better 10 times.
Yeah, and we'll probably see it. The trailer will probably get updated with the better VFX as it goes on. So
funny enough, Deadpool like does it with the cable arm. He's like,
I saw that.
How do you
and the color grading. They fixed the color grading in the trailer too. So all right, here we go.
And if we disagree on how to manage a situation, then what happens? Work with me, Sam.
So that's another thing, is that was a very Steve Rogers thing. If we disagree on how to do something, like what happens then? They cut out the remainder of that, because when he said work with me, Sam, that's obviously not the follow-up to that comment. Like literally, there's probably a much more dialogue on that. But already 35 seconds into this trailer, it feels like a proper like Captain America movie. It's got that same sort of tension that it needed. And I think a lot of people were worried about that because of all of the reshoots. And yes, I'm sure that will affect the story in some way. We'll have to wait and see when the movie comes out.
It gave a lot of like Winter Soldier vibes and also First Avenger vibes basically, and somewhat. And then you also get like Civil War kind of.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So what you're saying is it feels like a Captain America movie.
Yeah, it feels like a Captain America movie.
What I'm saying though is that's what people were complaining about, was that it wasn't going to feel like Captain America, and I feel like this is nailing it. Like the trailer is really nailing the vibe of Captain America, which is good for me.
We'll show the world a better way forward.
Thank you.
Okay, so that if you didn't watch the show, that is Isaiah, who was the first super soldier before Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm. Still packs a punch.
Yeah. So, or I don't know if the first super soldier, he was the first like quote unquote Black Ops Captain America.
He was like the first active one, wasn't he? Because didn't most of them die?
Yes. Yeah. Because they tried to replicate Steve, right? Like
tried to replicate Steve, but people couldn't take the serum or whatever it was. And
yeah.
What's funny is they tried to replicate him twice, and we got Hulk from one, and the second one was
because I misspoke. He was the first military sanctioned version, because Steve was not down with that military shit, but they tried to do that with Isaiah, and they didn't want to give him the credit or the title because he was black. So it's all covered in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But it seems like this might be him. A lot of people have said this might be some sort of like brainwashing situation or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see.
They should have waited.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that or you don't want to. What if it's a trap? Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn.
Okay, so a lot of people are saying like the like taser sticks or whatever batons on the shield were dumb, because they're like, why didn't they just go for another part of his body? It's like, I don't know. I mean,
Thor hit the shield with his hammer, and it produced electricity.
Yeah, no, but they were saying, why would they go directly for the shield? And I'm like, because you saw him like pull it up, he blocked it immediately. They didn't have a chance to like go for another part of his body. But anyway, one of the things that has bugged me about Sam as Captain America, probably the only thing that bothers me about it, is I like the idea of Captain America having some sort of like biological powers, like some sort of like physical powers. And if he's not going to have physical powers, I would like for him to feel more like an Iron Man version, like with the tech and everything. Because I know that Sam can fight, and against regular people, he's probably going to be able to hold his own. You know,
I mean, he has wings,
right? But like, there's scenes where he doesn't. He's just using the shield, and my complaint about that is that shield is probably really heavy. Like, it's probably like Steve using that shield made sense because he was super strong. But my issue, and I even said this while Falcon Winter Soldier was going on, is like that shield. I don't know. I don't always buy that Steve or that Sam can use it the way Steve can use it. I just don't. And that's been the one tiny nitpick I've had about it all along, just in my opinion. But I'm hoping in the movie they sort of address that and make it make sense more so than they did in the show, because that was really my biggest complaint for the series.
I don't think he would willingly like put like now that like Sam has been like integrated in this like story. I don't think he would personally go and become a test subject to become a super soldier.
No. I don't think he would. But I mean, like, address it as in like, how is he able to do all of this? Because in the show, he was able to bounce the shield around and stuff. I just don't see a normal human doing that. Like, like the Winter Soldier can do it because he's a super soldier. But you know,
what pulled me out is him catching the end of it.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. That's the only real issue I have with it. Honestly, when he's wearing the suit, like the full suit with the like Wakandan tech and stuff, I don't have an issue with it at all. Then because then you could just say the suit gives him
protects him
or whatever. But
he was like, barehanded catching the shield.
Yeah, that was my one thing. Like, you know,
they didn't have that. They didn't have the money for it.
Paige would probably say that's just me being nitpicky, but you know,
that's you being woke.
Woke.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
That's really interesting. They put that line in there because that's kind of the discourse that's always online about this version of Captain America.
They basically did the same thing with Batwoman, where they're like, the suit is literally perfection. It will when it fits a woman.
Yeah. I wonder if that line is conjunction. So hear me out on this one. I think that line of dialogue takes place back from what the beginning of the trailer was, where he talked about disagreeing with orders. I think that line happens in that scene.
But it might also be like maybe Sam trying to say that maybe he's a symbol for certain things, but he hasn't been Captain America for that long. He's been Captain America for like a slice, like a tiny slice.
Maybe.
While Steve Rogers was Captain America for like 80 years or something like that, though he was frozen for a lot of that.
The next part is going to be like my favorite when he answers the question.
Okay, here we go.
That was
You're right. I'm not.
What are you going to say, 3-Down?
Respects the original Captain America.
Absolutely, but he always has. That's why the discourse never made any sense to me. It's not like Sam and Steve, they were best friends.
Yeah. And
it's not like he disrespects Steve, you know what I mean?
And if you watch Endgame, you see him going, here's the shield. I want you to be the Captain America. He didn't like that. I don't see how.
Ironically, old Stephen Rogers looks like Joe Biden.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, did you see there? We get to see the other Falcon for a split second.
You paused on him before, wasn't he wearing the helmet?
So that's Joaquin, I think, right? Isn't that the character's name?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. Sorry, Joaquin Falcon.
Yeah.
So he's a phoenix that turns into a falcon?
Yeah,
no, he's just a falcon.
But you can see that because a lot of people were wondering if he was actually going to have like physics. Like I never even understood why this was a discussion, but people did ask this question when we were talking about this early on, if he was going to be a mutant and have actual wings. And I'm like, no, he's using the old Falcon tech that he's changed and upgraded for himself. So he's got the old wings recolored for him from like the comics version, but he's literally just the new Falcon. So this is Captain America and Falcon now with the 2 new characters, which I think is really cool.
It's basically Captain America, Falcon, smash together.
What was the original title of this movie, Eric?
Huh?
Oh, fuck, I forgot there was that end thing there.
What
was the original title of this movie that was controversial?
New World Order.
New World Order. Okay, I was trying to remember what it was called, yeah.
Thank goodness they changed that part, but see the part here with Hulk.
I don't know how that's not Harrison Ford. It looks
what
like.
do you mean?
Oh, from the back of the head, like it.
Let me mute this and move it slowly. Playback speed 0.25.
Canada.
Oh, it is absolutely Harrison Ford. Look at the face here.
If it's not him, then it's a.
That's got to be him. That has to be him.
Yep. He does have the voice for like that deep, like he has a deep tone to where it would sound cool when Hulk, when Red Hulk speaks.
Oh, okay. Apparently the original title was NWA. So it's Captain America NWA.
I'm sure that
on Twitter.
I'm sure that was the new title.
I was looking it up. That was apparently the
yeah.
There's so many lines.
Screwface says the original title
17.2
was too close to WCW.
Oh, well, I do remember that. Yeah.
What's this one? Isn't that the wrestling?
Okay, so there's a good shot of the face. So we confirm
it's got to be Harrison. Like I don't like that theory that like
that it's someone else and that he's just there.
The bait and switch thing. Yeah. The only thing I'm just wondering is that like because I was reading Marvel comics at the time when he became Red, because he didn't become Red Hulk like late 2000s.
Yeah,
and like everyone dies. Like that's why he becomes Red Hulk, because like everyone dies.
I honestly hope
he sort of can't take.
Like I honestly hope that they don't actually show his full frontal until the movie comes out.
So my question is, and Paige, you bring up a good point. What would lead him to become a Hulk?
Well, in the comics, Steve Rogers dies, his daughter dies, the Hulk is...
No, I know that. I'm talking about in the MCU, what would lead him to...
Well, that's what I'm just saying. I'm trying to like line it up. So like Steve Rogers dead, daughter dead, Hulk maybe, I think he was dead. Or was he just off? He wasn't there. Hulk wasn't there. So in the context of the MCU, Steve Rogers is old. Oh no, he's dead now. He died, didn't he? Did he die?
He's gone. He just walked away.
Is he just old now? Or
yeah,
I can't remember. And then obviously Hulk, whatever, and then Liv Tyler's meant to be in this movie as Betty Ross. So, and there's a funeral in this trailer. So is that her funeral? Maybe she's killed by something that, like, maybe they're trying to fight up against.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why he would choose to become Red Hulk. That's
because it's the leader in the comics that offers him the thing, and then the leader's in this movie.
Let's see.
I'm looking them up right now.
See here, what other trailer we're gonna watch? We're gonna watch Agatha All Along. Let's watch that one next.
Oh god. Agatha, this looks fucking ass.
You're not a fan of that?
It looks bad, Eric, man. It looks not very good. I do wonder, I have a theory for why the show exists as well. It's a show to do one thing, which we'll talk about.
Okay, so we'll talk about it after the trailer.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. Add. All right, here we go. Agatha All Along. Let's go.
Another beautiful day.
Can we pause that? How many cars in America have the gear shift on the wheel? Like, how old does your car have to be to have the gear shift on the wheel?
I don't know if they still do it or not, but I would say up until like the early 2010s, there was some that still had
No way.
Yeah.
So what do you have in your center like in the middle?
Just a space for like your drinks and your like a place to put things in.
Does anyone here have a car with in America with a gear shift on the wheel?
I've
never
don't.
seen one.
Are you asking the chat? No, I have a SUV, so I don't.
Except for an old one, like I think I've seen like a 1970s Holden or something like that has it on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all
I saw that in the comics, Red Hulk gets using radiation siphoning from the Hulk. However, his true identity wasn't revealed.
He can also overload. The angrier he gets, the more likely he is to like over radiate and create heat and stuff. So, all right, let's go. Here we go.
Jane Doe, found her down here by the water.
Cause?
Blunt force trauma.
What happened to you?
I died.
Is that the Wanda?
Yeah, it's meant to be. That's why they focus on the hands.
Yeah, right here. If you go back here,
because
it's the hoodie and the hands are what's supposed to make it look like Wanda.
What happened to you? I have a lead in the case, but I can't shake this feeling I'm seeing it wrong.
Yeah, see, there we go. Wanda Maximoff.
Yeah. What's funny is they kept there was like a leak that she survived, and I honestly thought if you've seen the last scene of her in Doctor Strange, there's a glimmer of light beaming as the rocks after the rocks fall on her.
Right.
Like she wasn't dead.
Interesting.
Is this really how you see yourself?
That witch is gone, leaving you.
By the way, I love Army Flies. She's one of my favorite actresses. I love her dry humor. So
You trapped in her distorted spell. Claw your way out. I miss the glory days. She took every bit of power.
can we petition movie studios to stop using copyrighted music in their fucking trailers? I mean, is there any way we could do that? That would be really nice. Like, pick something real.
Yeah, go back to the voiceover dudes. This summer.
Yeah, 100%.
She took every bit of power I had, but I can be that witch again.
She what? What did you say?
Or beatboxing, like just filling in with this summer.
That's terrifying. I don't know what to think of that, but that is absolutely terrifying.
He puts on his hair coloring. That's
oh yeah.
going out of the shower.
100%. 100%.
Well, the gang's all here. Let's hit the road.
Okay, so I have to say this, and we talked about this earlier about the CW slander, but I have to say this.
This looks like Charmed. It looks like
Charmed.
Charmed.
Yeah, the song is very like CW-esque the way it plays in with all the characters. It shows all their faces in the song, tells you, like, start singing in the background. It's like, we are power, we are magic. We like the song literally just starts telling you what they are, and it's just really like, no.
It's too on the nose.
That's what I hate. Like, so, you know, being in the music field, I pay attention to music a lot more than other people when they're watching TV shows or movies or whatever. So when I'm watching a show, a song placed oddly in a scene will ruin the whole thing for me. And I think I talked to Paige about this. There was a show, I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was Naomi, but it was like
Snowtown.
No, it wasn't Snowtown. But there was a song playing on one of the shows, and I could not shake it. And I was like, I hated the whole episode because of that one song.
I kind of like wish they would go back to where action is. It's just basically boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It has a bunch of music, but it's not like copyright.
This song is very young adult, like Hunger Games vibe. But anyway.
I'm gonna walk the witch's road. The road is a death wish. join me. What witch in her right mind would join Agatha Harkness's coven?
Not looking for right-minded witches, as it happens.
Okay, we'll stop there because it's already going to hit with copyright. Okay, Paige, so you had a theory. Why do you think the show is happening?
I think this entire show is just to bring Wanda back to life.
3Dub is shaking his head as well.
I think the entire show is that you meet her dead body in the first episode. Finale, Elizabeth Olsen shows up again as Wanda Maximoff.
I think this is to lead into Midnight Sun stuff.
It's 100% Wiccan. 100%.
I think it's going like I think there was a rumor about Midnight Sun being made into a Marvel movie, and a bunch.
We got to get Blade made first, so that might be 10 years away. That one.
You got to. Maestro says you're right, Paigey. So.
Duncan Maestro.
Moon Knight is a part of that, also.
Gwendolyn's here. I'm looking forward to the show, but I don't remember her dying in Doctor Strange. Well, she buries herself at the
end.
Got
crushed by that.
You don't see a body, so no body, no death.
That's the way I feel about it. I've heard the Midnight Suns game is actually really good, but I haven't played it yet.
Isn't it like
probably grab it? So
Ultimate Alliance style or something like that?
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Well, I'm asking a question. That'd be rude.
I don't know. The chat can answer. I don't know. I haven't played it. Paigey makes too much sense. No, you don't make any sense, Paigey.
I make too much
Paigey
sense.
Makes Paigey sense.
It makes no sense.
Paigey makes Paigey sense.
Werewolf by Night was amazing. I loved that project. I wish they did more stuff like that.
I think you mean Man Thing.
And there's a rumor that Werewolf by Night will be in the Midnight Suns too.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. All right, let's do one more trailer. I think there was one more we're gonna watch. Gladiator. Okay,
I haven't watched this yet, so
okay. So I've only seen the memes because apparently
I've seen the meme. I've seen the way it's like they got Denzel from the streets of New York and put him in ancient Rome.
Okay,
yeah.
So here we are, Gladiator 2 trailer.
3 minutes long.
I don't know if it's a full 3 minutes because it's Joe Blow, and Joe Blow is epic. So
they probably put like a minute of teaser trailer or some shit at the end.
Okay, so here we go. Let's do it. Again, it's probably gonna get claimed, but we'll watch it here. Yeah, Gwendolyn, watch it on playback, and I would say not to rush you, but because YouTube's probably gonna block it, watch it within the next day or so. Because they'll usually come back about 24 hours later and be like, you can't watch trailers on our site. All right, here we go. So wait, Russell Crowe's not going to be in this at all?
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the first movie, he dies. So
no, but I wasn't sure when this took place chronologically. I think
it's like in quote unquote real time. I think it's meant because yeah, or like
so it's an actual sequel, not like a prequel or a side by side sequel. Okay,
yeah, I think the only returning cast member is Connie Nielsen, who plays his mom. Okay. And
who is this actor? Who is this?
That looks like Mandalorian.
What's his name? Paul Mescal.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but what has he been in otherwise? I think I've seen him in other stuff.
I think the only thing I've seen him in is After Sun, which I think is like the movie that made him big.
I do know that the Mandalorian's in here.
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Let's see. What have I seen him in? I recognize him somewhere, but he hasn't been in anything that I've seen. Maybe he just looks like somebody that I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Revenge Against an Emperor.
You know, he's goated, right? Goated actor. Love him. The accent is too modern. You know what I mean? Like it's not giving me like this era. And look, I know absolutely that I have no clue what these people sounded like back then, but mixing it with the other like people that have that more like, I guess like a European sounding, accent or whatever. It just British, Liverpool, wherever it is. I don't know. It just doesn't vibe for me. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know the American school system isn't great, Eric, but like Latin is no one really speaks Latin anymore, so it's sort of hard for them to do.
I don't expect them to speak Latin, but but most of the people in this film have some sort of an accent that fits like where they're aligned with. And
yeah. Well, I mean, like that's the issue, but it's because ancient Rome as well, like any of the ancient societies, like it wasn't just someone that was born in there, like they all came from different things. So I don't mind it being a bit of a,
I don't know, maybe it's because Denzel to me is so intrinsically tied to like detective, police officer stuff and everything. I'm having a hard time.
I literally thought you were going to say
it's like out of it's like a it just seems like it's like misplaced, like just not used to seeing Denzel in that type of movie.
I guess that's it. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
I literally thought you were going to say Denzel feels like he's from Washington.
No.
Oh, he sounds like he's from the streets of New York in this one.
What's up, Organized Chaos? I don't know. I love Denzel, so I'm okay with this. It's such a weird. I don't know. It's weird seeing him in this position in this film. Yeah.
If I do watch this will be actually the first time I've seen Denzel in the movie.
What?
Yeah. I know he's a good actor too. Like I haven't like every single movie that I've watched, Denzel Washington wasn't in it. So
Are you serious?
Are serious.
You kidding?
I'm serious. Yep.
What?
Wow.
Holy cow.
If I watch this.
Woke DICRT. Yeah, I mean that's what everybody's been saying. I don't have an issue with him being in it. It's just
what's CRT?
Critical race theory.
Oh.
It's a thing that lawyers.
I don't know what DEI stands for. I just see people using it to call things work.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's more used in video game terminology, but now they're just applying it to anything.
Yeah, mate. Training Day, Man on Fire, Equal on at least the first Equalizer. I haven't seen number 3. What's that? American Gangster? There's heaps of Denzel.
I mean, like 3Dub. There's so many movies from him. You just need to watch a couple of the big ones, and you'll fall in love with him. He's
Training Day and Man on Fire. The two probably.
Yeah.
An American Gangster.
I almost said The Magnificent Seven, but that's a reboot. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Why
Pause it here.
Yeah.
As someone who loves ancient history, I saw this thing, a screenshot of this on Twitter, and I can't believe they're doing it. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, the thing, but it's pretty much like they do a boat fight in the Colosseum. They fill it with water and stuff. It's like
that's not real.
It happened. Well, it's in like history books and stuff, but it only happened like once or something. Like hardly ever happened. They're doing it in this movie. It starts with a P, I think, off the top of my head. But I saw a screenshot of this.
Okay,
and I was
like, I've seen them in Remember the Titans. That's about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
That was Disney Channel watch, I assume, because that's a Disney.
And that was like, let's see, 2000. I was 6.
Fun fact: I saw Virtuosity. This is a fun fact. 32 times in the movie theaters. I went and saw it 32 times.
Oh wow!
That's a lot, though.
So the thing is that I love that movie so much when it came out. It's not a good movie though. Like if you can watch it, like the acting in it is really like it's not top tier, but it's okay. The movie's not good, but I went and saw it because the theater right behind the mall that I worked at, during the daytime, if you worked in the mall, you got tickets for like $2. So I would go on my break every day because I got a couple hours when I was working like 10-hour shifts, and I would watch this movie and eat like nachos and stuff. 32 times. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Here we go. Oh, look. Yeah. So Denzel bested Russell Crowe Virtuosity. He can one up him in Gladiator 2 as well. Yeah. That's funny. All right. I have to say the voice of this character here where he goes, there's victories yet to come or whatever. Why is it that all the villains in these properties, when they talk, they sound like that? They have that same kind of that nasally, like weaselly voice or whatever. It's like they do it on purpose to make them sound even more evil.
I honestly, the clothes that they're wearing right now makes me flashback to Tony Stark, where he says, "Like, does Mother know if you wear her drapes?"
Oh, yeah. Do we? Okay, so before we watch the rest of this, anybody think that Pedro Pascal's in too many things?
He's like the face of everything now. But I'm surprised he isn't in Star Wars yet. Oh wait, yes.
The issue with it is that I'm not saying much of a difference here. He just plays himself. He doesn't really play the character. He just sort of plays Pedro Pascal. So that's really where my issue lies. Like, there's not much.
Has he been in a Marvel? Yeah. Never mind. Fantastic Four.
And that's Human Torch, the dude you're talking about, Eric, in regards to the pompous voice. That's Human Torch.
Yeah. But they get that. It's almost like they tell them to talk that way though, because it's like all.
Yeah, well, I think it's because of like the thing where it's like they're not in the battle, but they're the ones in charge.
They're like, how do you play somebody evil in this time period? You sound like Joffrey. Just sound like Joffrey in everything you do.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in Fast and Furious. I'll give him that. There you go.
Yeah. Wait. I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. Okay, I'm going to be honest here. It doesn't look bad, but the first movie is such an iconic film. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we need a sequel for that first movie.
Did you feel that way with Beetlejuice? The first one
was different. Like Gladiator was a Oscar-winning movie. Like there's a difference there. And like Russell Crowe is like iconic as Maximus. So I was worried when they first announced it. What I'm seeing so far, I don't mind it, but I don't think the trailer's proving that it needed to be made. But then again, like that's for the movie to.
Look at this. Quindolin's never seen Gladiator.
I saw Gladiator when I was 8 years old, and I was probably way too young to watch it because there's a lot of blood and stuff like that. But yeah.
It's really weird to me because what I'll probably do is I'm going to go see it in theaters, obviously, but I'll probably watch the original Gladiator like before I go see it. But I feel like that's going to put a lot of pressure on this movie because that Gladiator is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that movie. So anyway, here we go. This little like snarky expression that he gives, I'm sold. I'm sold. Okay, I don't care if he sounds like Denzel in every cop movie that I've ever seen him in. I'm sold. That expression right there tells me I'm gonna love this character in this movie. So I'm good with it.
Too much.
Okay, all right.
If it already didn't feel a bit time, just place he's Kanye to
Yeah. Okay.
Take you out of it even more.
I will say this: this music doesn't belong in this trailer. It doesn't belong in this trailer, and it's. I love hip hop music. I love that vibe on certain films. It doesn't belong in this trailer. I'm sorry, for me it doesn't. Like you should have done score. Like, it should have been the score.
It should have been like no musician. Basically, it should have been just like
the score.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
I didn't know what the score was.
Yeah. Score is basically just the music, the background music for the film, which I think would have been fine.
Or something that resembles medieval times.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna get something similar to The Knight's Tale, and they're gonna like Kanye's actually gonna come out to the middle of the Coliseum?
Oh, please don't do that. No. Oh, look, he's giving it. That's classic Denzel. There, that is Denzel laughing and shaking hands. That is who he is a character. So I mean, so Pedro, you say that, yeah. So do you think Denzel is doing kind of what we were saying about Pedro here, like? In this moment, he's just Denzel playing Denzel.
I think this is what Ridley Scott wants, because when you do these ancient Romans things, it's hard because one, not speaking Latin, so you're already speaking English, you're already translating it.
Yeah.
And when it's like it was like this like Mecca essentially where people would come to it, you can do whatever you want with the voices. Like I'm fine with them. Like I think I know it's hard. Like I think anyone they can do whatever they want with their voices, to be completely honest. I think it's just a bit jarring hearing like Denzel talk like as if he is in like training day.
Every time that I've seen like medieval movies where they go back to like
well, they usually like even then, like even like in medieval movies and stuff, they don't talk how they would have in the medieval days.
They talk more like
because you wouldn't be able to understand it.
Right.
They talk like medieval like quote unquote English is like it's not very easy to understand. Like people have deciphered it and stuff like that and spoken it. It's like it's not really all there. It's almost
like Rain does the perfect example of what they should be talking like.
After we're done with this, I'm gonna play a video of someone speaking in actual like old English and wait till you hear it. It's really weird.
Done, Eric. Could have gotten Britney Spears, Beyonce, and Pink.
Not Lady Marmalade. No, we're not going to do that.
Was that the Pepsi commercial back in the day?
There was, but there was also a Lady Marmalade song with a bunch of people.
Yeah, but wasn't that the Pepsi commercial? You have to look at the Pepsi commercial. That
we'll stop sharing that. But I'll see it. It looks like a good movie. It's just going to be really hard for it to live up to the original.
Now look up the Pepsi commercial.
I feel like there was a cliffhanger on the end of the trailer.
Yeah, but I feel like we've seen too much of it. I don't want to be spoiled on too many things. So I'm hoping it's just trailer music because Eric Wright, it does not fit. Well,
I don't think it'd be in the movie. I don't think it'd be actually in the movie.
I hope not. Look, it's like anything with the word power, you get Kanye singing in the background. That's always what it is. It's just really like enough of that. Before we look at that trailer, I wanted to look this up. This is someone speaking the opening lines of Beowulf in Old English. If anybody who hasn't heard, and I'm going to take the subtitles off, anybody who hasn't actually heard what Old English sounds like, get ready for this. This is crazy to hear. Like, if we were to make movies speaking in this now, you would not understand most of this probably. Here we go. Let's just listen to this.
What way gar dana in yar dagum feud kuninga thrimye frunon hutha athalingus Ellen Fremidon, oft shield shaving, shaden a threatum, monegum maig thum mero setla ofta, egg so de aerolas, suthan arist worth, fashion.
It's crazy, and that's what they would have spoken like medieval times and stuff like that. Like, so, like, and then you got to imagine like speaking Latin and stuff in those like ancient societies and everything like that. So when people go, "Oh, I want realism," like, well, if they're speaking like you or me right now, like there's the realism at the door straight away.
That's why when people time travel and they go back to medieval times and they're having conversations with someone, that would not happen.
Yeah,
you would not talk with somebody and meet like that's almost like a completely foreign language.
Yeah,
but that's Old English. So yeah, like it wouldn't make any sense. Let me look.
I understood nothing.
That's what I mean. That's why it's like so difficult. Let's see, Pepsi commercial. I think it was a Super Bowl commercial, wasn't it?
It was something like that.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We'll watch this, but we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I need to end this before 2 hours so we can get the clips out of it. So this will be the last thing we look at, and then we'll wrap everything up. So here we go. So this is Gladiator 2. This is a sneak peek at Gladiator.
This is Gladiator 1.
I feel like it's getting ready to go into a copyrighted song. So anyway, they fight here. Let me mute this and I'll skip through it. But yeah, they do like a little battle scene with them. Look at Brittany screaming.
No, don't they all get a can of Pepsi at the end or something? They're like trying to get the Pepsi.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the lion's like
Enrique's coming after, or the lion's coming after Enrique. He could be your hero, baby.
Could also be the lion's lunch. By the way, Pepsi. Yeah. Can we all agree it's pretty fucking shit? Like,
I don't drink Pepsi anymore. I know where's Canada Graph's at. He's a Pepsi drinker. Absolutely canon. We talk about the boys like the middle of the stream, somewhere in the middle. I don't know the exact timestamp, but if you go back, it's there.
It's in the past.
It's in the past. That's the past. Anyway, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark. I have to get out of here. I've got to do some stuff in the morning. But I want to thank, this is a late night stream. I want to thank 3Dub for being here, staying up late with us here tonight. I appreciate it. Check out 3Dub at official_3WP. And Party Nations tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be there. So you want to stop in for that. What time are you guys streaming tomorrow?
5:30.
5:30. Okay.
6:30 for you.
Yeah. And look, Organize says, good time. Make sure to like and sub. Yes. If you're watching on either of my channels, please like and sub.
Also heavily dislike.
No, do not.
No.
Go to Paige's channel.
Leave slanderous comments in the comment section of this stream.
Do not do that. Do not do that.
Slanderous comments on Eric's appearance.
Oh, la 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 la.
And then Paige, of course, joining us today. By the way, how are you feeling? Are you feeling better now? I know you were sick like last week or whatever.
Yeah, it was weird. I usually am sick for longer. Like, I don't know why. Maybe because I was sick at the end of last year, so maybe they took some of the sickness away. But I was only sick for about honestly like 4 or 5 days, like really bad. And I still got a bit of a cough, but it's like minor.
Let me double check super chats. I think we're caught up on that. We're good on that. Okay.
Wasn't
Well, thanks
there,
everybody.
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, wasn't there like a super chats that you were withholding?
No. I tried to get through all those, so they're all gone. Let me double check though. Nope. We got Scott.
You got
super chat,
everything.
Hero's Journey, and CGH Entertainment. And we got everybody.
Okay, cool.
So, all right. Anyway, we're out of here. Thanks everybody. Have a great night, and I'll see everyone later on. And catch 3Dub tomorrow on Party Nation on Geek Drums channel. Bye everyone.